Saturday of the 19th week in Ordinary Time.
A reading from the book of Joshua. Joshua gathered together all the tribes of Israel at Shechem and addressed them, saying, "Fear the Lord and serve him completely and sincerely. Cast out the gods your fathers served beyond the river and in Egypt, and serve the Lord. If it does not please you to serve the Lord, decide today whom you will serve, the gods your fathers served beyond the river, or the gods of the Amorites in whose country you are dwelling. As for me and my household, we will serve the Lord." But the people answered, "Far be it from us to forsake the Lord for the service of other gods. For it was the Lord our God who brought us and our fathers up out of the land of Egypt, out of a state of slavery. He performed those great miracles before our very eyes and protected us along our entire journey and among all the peoples through whom we passed. At our approach, the Lord drove out all the peoples, including the Amorites who dwelt in the land. Therefore, we also will serve the Lord, for he is our God." Joshua in turn said to the people, "You may not be able to serve the Lord, for he is a holy God. He is a jealous God who will not forgive your transgressions or your sins. If, after the good he has done for you, you forsake the Lord and serve strange gods, he will do evil to you and destroy you." But the people answered Joshua, "We will still serve the Lord." Joshua therefore said to the people, "You are your own witnesses that you have chosen to serve the Lord." They replied, "We are indeed." Joshua continued, "Now, therefore, put away the strange gods that are among you and turn your hearts to the Lord, the God of Israel." Then the people promised Joshua, "We will serve the Lord our God and obey his voice." So Joshua made a covenant with the people that day and made statutes and ordinances for them at Shechem, which he recorded in the book of the law of God. Then he took a large stone and set it up there under the oak that was in the sanctuary of the Lord. And Joshua said to all the people, "This stone shall be our witness, for it has heard all the words which the Lord spoke to us. It shall be a witness against you, should you wish to deny your God." Then Joshua dismissed the people, each to his own heritage. After these events, Joshua, son of Nun, servant of the Lord, died at the age of 110. The word of the Lord.
The responsorial psalm. The response is, "You are my inheritance, O Lord. Keep me, O God, for in you I take refuge. I say to the Lord, my Lord are you. O Lord, my allotted portion and my cup. You it is who hold fast my lot. You are my inheritance, O Lord. I bless the Lord who counsels me. Even in the night my heart exhorts me. I set the Lord ever before me. With him at my right hand, I shall not be disturbed. You are my inheritance, O Lord. You will show me the path to life, fullness of joys in your presence, the delights at your right hand forever. You are my inheritance, O Lord.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Children were brought to Jesus that he might lay his hands upon them and pray. The disciples rebuked them, but Jesus said, "Let the children come to me and do not prevent them, for the kingdom of heaven belongs to such as these." After he placed his hands on them, he went away. The Gospel of the Lord.
Saturday of the 19th week in Ordinary Time. The first reading comes from Joshua 24, 14 to 29. Yesterday we heard about how Joshua summoned the people so that they could make a covenant with God or renew the covenant that they already had. Yesterday's reading was a recounting of the history of the relationship between God and his people, how God called Abraham, cared for the patriarchs, led the people out of slavery in Egypt, protected the people in their exodus through the desert. Today, we hear Joshua call out to the people and ask them to commit themselves to the Lord. And when they say they will, Joshua reminds the people that God doesn't want half-hearted promises. If you say you're going to belong to the Lord, then you have to keep the covenant. You have to keep the commandments and statutes which the Lord has ordained. God is a holy God. He wants to be served in holiness. The response of the people, we will do that. And therefore, they set up stones which will be witnesses of the covenant that the people made. You always have to have witnesses, whether it be some sort of altar or a stone memorial, or at times the witnesses of the covenants are God calling upon the heavens and the earth to witness what he is doing for his people. We hear at the end of the passage that Joshua lives to be 110 years old. So notice he's not as great as Moses, who lived to be 120 years old, but nevertheless 110 is a significant lifespan. The Gospel is from Matthew 19, 13 to 15. Children are brought before Jesus, and the disciples rebuke them, whether they think that Jesus is too tired or they're too insignificant for Jesus to deal with. It's not clear. Jesus says that it's to such as these that the kingdom of heaven belongs, and he blesses them. Children represent that simplicity, that goodness, that openness to the kingdom, that sometimes we adults who have gotten sophisticated, who have educated ourselves, who have filled our hearts with our own pride, do not have. And so remember, we have to become childlike, not childish, not selfish, but childlike, with a willingness to open our hearts and to recognize that we need God's presence in our life. And may God bless us.